Want to add a splash of festive fun with a Christmas in July card? How about a fun fold? It's called the Corner Flap Easel Card. And it's a very, very fancy fun fold, but it is easy. And we'll be using vibrant Christmas colors, mastering the baby wipe technique. I'll share a couple of tips, plus a little magic with magnets. You won't want to miss this special Christmas in July card making tutorial.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Nancy Novak from STAMPINSHOUT.com, and I love sharing creative card making techniques and tips with all of you. And I'm excited to share my Christmas in July. It's called Easy Corner Flap Easel Card. And we'll be using the Merriest Tree stamp set and the dies. This is really a great die set. It's huge. There's like 26 parts to it, and it creates all different size Christmas trees. It can create a tag. It has ornaments. It has a lot of little presents. It's just got a lot. It's got stars. It's really cool. And we're going to make this fun, fancy card today, and I think you're really going to like it. And you're going to be surprised at how easy it is. So we're going to have a card base of real red, and then I have several squares. I have 2 white squares for the bottom, 2 white squares for the top. I have a piece of designer series paper, and then I have 2 more squares of designer series paper. I have a strip of white that's 3 by 6. And by the way, don't worry about the sizes, because all of my projects, I have a free project sheet for you, and I email it directly to your email address. All you need to do is sign up for my newsletter. And people have been asking, how do I find the sign up? Well, if you look in the description below this video, you'll see some words, you'll see the title of the video, and you'll see the word more. You got to click on that word more, and it opens up a lot of other information. And if you scroll down, you'll see where it says, click here to subscribe to my newsletter. And that's it. And then 8 o'clock tonight, I'm going to send out that newsletter with the project sheet. So it'll have all the sizes and the supplies that I use. So you don't have to worry about it if I forget to tell you something. Also, you'll see nice big pictures on my blog. I'll even have the little design sheet that will help you. A lot of information. So 2 things, project sheet and visit my blog. Okay, let's continue here. We have a scrap of red, a scrap of white, a scrap of silver foil. And then ahead of time, I went and I cut out 3 circles. I used the Decal circle dies. So I have 1 in Coastal Cabana, 1 in Real Red, and 1 in white. So we have larger white squares, and we have smaller white squares, and we have the designer series paper. So we're going to take the smaller white squares and the designer series paper squares, and I'm going to bring in my cutter, and we're going to cut each of these diagonally. So I'm just going to place it in my cutter. I'm going to put the point at the top and the bottom, and if you close it, you can see where the line is. It's easier to line it up, and I'm just going to cut this diagonally. Same thing on this square, and the same thing with the 2 smaller white squares. Okay, now I'm going to bring our card base in. It's real red, and I'm going to bring in my scoreboard. So this is an 8 by 8 square, and we're going to score it at 4. We're going to score it right in the middle here. Okay, then we're going to turn it, and we're going to score it at 4, but we're only going to score down to the score line, just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to bring my cutter back in, and on the part that we didn't finish scoring, we're going to cut it at 4, and we're going to cut it right to the score line. So you're basically just cutting down to 4. So let me show you on this white piece. I think it'll be easier to see. So this is an 8 by 8 square, and the dotted lines are score lines, and then this solid line here is our cutting line. So basically we scored it in half at 4, and we scored it down here right to the score line at 4. We're going to now score it on these diagonal lines, and then we also cut on this piece here. So let me see if I can show that to you. So that's what it looks like. So we have to finish scoring on the angle, and I'll do that right now. Okay, so this is the piece that we scored and cut. I'm just going to go ahead and crease it with my bone folder. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit more scoring, and we're going to do it on a diagonal. So my scoreboard, what I have here is a permanent black line. I just did it right down the middle, right at the 6-inch mark. And I'm going to take the center of our card, right there, that's the top, and I want to do a score line diagonally right down to the other score line. So that's where we scored it at 4, and here's our other score line. And I'm just going to go ahead and line that up, line those two score lines up, and then I created a diagonal score line right there. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So I got the top of our card base right there, and I want to do a diagonal down to this score line. So I'm going to line it up, and that black line just helps me line it up much easier. So I have the top score line there, the bottom one here, and when I'm happy, I'm going to go ahead and score it. Okay, so now I can go ahead and use my bone folder. Okay, let's do a little gluing. You'll see how this all comes together. So we have our diagonals that we cut out, and we have our designer series paper diagonals, and we're going to glue all of that together, just like that. So I'll do that real quick, and remember, I fast forward, so it won't take long at all. Okay, now I want to go ahead and glue the circles together. We'll just get all the basic gluing done. These pieces are going to go on the top of our card, just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those on. Okay, then our larger squares are going to go down here, and this designer series paper is going to go right there. But before I glue these down, I have to do a couple of things. First thing I want to do is stamp a sentiment on this side. So I'm going to bring in one of the stamps from the Merriest Trees, and I'm going to use Coastal Cabana. Again, the colors we're using are Coastal Cabana, Real Red, and Granny Apple Green. So it says, "We wish you a Merry Christmas," and that's going to go right there. Okay, now we're going to do the little magic with our magnets. So I have a roll of magnets here, and I will find these on Amazon, and I'll put a link in the description. Just let me show them to you really quick. So it's just a little roll of a bunch of magnets. So I have 2 of those magnets right here. They're stuck together. I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to bring in our glue dots, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to apply these magnets to our card. Okay, so I have my 2 magnets, and I'm going to take a glue dot. There's 2 magnets stuck together there. I'm going to put a glue dot on the bottom of the magnets. I'm going to put it right down here, just like that. Okay, now there's 2 magnets there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this other magnet down, and it attached. It's just like magic, it just attached. So it's on the back now. I'm going to take another glue dot and put it on the back of that magnet right there. Okay, so what we did was we put the magnet there. Both of them were stuck together. We attached it with a glue dot, and then I took the magnet apart, and it just attached to itself because it's magnetic and it's magic. So now what we're going to do, there's glue on the back of that. There's a little glue dot. We're going to close this card up, and when you close it up, it fits together perfectly. Let me fold these back so you can see. So I'm just going to fold this. This piece is on top. It's going to match up. All the corners are going to match up. And when I'm happy, just push it down, and that glue dot will stick. That's on that magnet, and that's how we create this little magic magnet card, right? And I'm going to put one more over here. So let's do that one more time. Okay, so I'm taking 2 magnets, and I'm going to put a glue dot on the back of it. They're still stuck together. Those magnets are still stuck together. Put a glue dot there. I'm going to put it up here in the upper corner, just like that. Now when I take these magnets apart, I got this one in my hand, I can just put it underneath here, and it's going to magically attach. Okay, so now it's attached. I'm going to put a glue dot on the back of that one. Okay, so there's our card. And now I can close it up. That magnet's stuck. Just give this a little push to make that other magnet stick from that glue dot. And now go like that, and it all sticks together like magic. Isn't that cool? Okay, so now we have it opened up, and we can bring our designer series paper in, and I'm going to glue that down. And then this white piece is going to go over here. We'll glue that down. But wait till you see the pretty Christmas tree that we're going to put in here. It's going to be gorgeous. So we'll open it back up, and we can go ahead and glue our circles down right in the center of that square. And we'll just set this off to the side for a minute. And we're going to bring in our scraps. I have a couple of Christmas present stamps that are in the set. So I'm using this one and this one. And we're going to stamp a couple in red. And I'll stamp a present in Granny Apple Green. And I'll stamp one in Coastal Cabana. And there are dies that will cut out each one of these presents, or you could even fussy cut them. They're very simple to cut out just by cutting the squares out. So let me get those presents cut out, and we'll continue on. And next we're going to make our Christmas tree. Okay, there are our presents. And before we make the tree, let's do a little bit more die cutting. So I'm going to bring in one of the star dies. There's several of them. I'm going to bring this little one in here. And I'm going to bring back in the silver foil scrap, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out a silver star. Okay, next we're going to cut out some decorations for our tree using this die right here. And we're going to bring in our scrap of red, and I'll cut that out real quick and I'll show you what it does. Okay, so that cut out all these pretty little strings of red that we're going to decorate our tree with. So we'll put this aside because next we're going to create our tree, and we're going to do the baby wipe technique. So I'll bring in 2 baby wipes. Doesn't matter what kind of baby wipes you use. And that's going to be our little ink pad eventually. And I have Granny Apple Green and Coastal Cabana in my ink refills. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some ink on my baby wipe here. Just little dots. Here's the Coastal Cabana. And I'm going to bring my stamp in to make sure I have enough of the ink to cover up the stamp pad. I'm just going to use the top part of this tree stamp. I'm not worried about the very bottom because that's not going to fit on our card. So I just want to make sure I have enough ink to cover up that stamp. Just kind of checking it out one more time. I think I'll add a little bit more down here. Okay, that's going to be our Christmas tree. It's very, very pretty. And if you wanted to, you probably had enough, you would have enough ink to make another one. Let me just see how that works. And there you go, you have another one. So let me bring the dies back in. And like I said, we have lots of different dies. We have 5 different Christmas tree sizes. I'm going to bring in this one right here, and I'm going to cut that tree out, and I'm going to show you how we're going to attach it to our card. Okay, so that's what our tree looks like. It's really cool looking, very pretty. But we're going to decorate it a little bit with the star and with those strings. So these little strips are going to go here and there on our Christmas tree, and I'm just going to glue them on. Okay, so I'm just going to glue those on really quick. I'm going to block the excess glue off on my silicone mat. You see me do that quite often. So I'm going to glue them all up, put them down on my silicone mat, let that glue dry a little bit as I'm working with all the different strings. You can trim these down so they fit better. And I'm going to bring the star in and attach that with the glue dot. Okay, there is our decorated Christmas tree. Okay, stick with me because you're really going to like how this card turns out. Okay, so here's our 3x6 piece, and that's going to be our mechanism that's going to hold up our Christmas tree. So I'm going to bring in my scoreboard. Okay, so our rectangle, we're going to score it at 3, right in the middle there. And then we're going to score it at 4 5/8. We fold it in half, and we're going to bring our deckled circle in, and we're going to cut this circle out. So here's my fold. Let me show you this. My fold is right there. I want to cut out a double circle, but I want to make sure that the top of the circle is off of the fold just ever so slightly, because I don't want to cut through and make 2 separate circles. It's going to make one big circle, and it's going to be joined. I'll be right back. Okay, so here's our little circle. And then here's where we scored it at 4 5/8. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring this in. The whole circle, I'm going to glue to that circle right there. And then I'm going to flip this up, and it's going to create our little mechanism. And we're going to attach our Christmas tree to it, just like that. So let me go ahead and glue this solid piece on. You kind of have to do it when the card is up like this, because you want to make sure that you have the right angle when you attach your tree, because you want it centered. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on that little tab right there. And then I'm going to attach the Christmas tree. But I got to make sure that the Christmas tree fits up into this corner. So by putting glue on the tab, I can put the tree and glue it kind of wherever I want. Okay, so that is our little mechanism for our tree. But I also want to have some support here for our tree. So that's where the presents come in. So I'm going to take this large present right there, and I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back. I'm going to put that right in the center of our Christmas tree. Just like that. So that kind of helps hold up our Christmas tree. And then this one here, I'm going to cut down a little bit, make it more of a square. And I'm just going to add more presents here. I'm just going to glue these ones right at the base of our tree. Okay, so that's our easel tree, or our easel card, but I want to talk about a couple of components of it so you kind of remember this when you're creating this for yourself. Okay, so let me open this up. So that's how our card goes. So when you're creating this, I made it with the Christmas tree. You have to be careful that the Christmas tree isn't too big, that it extends beyond the center of your card. So that's why I scored it at 4 5/8 on that circle, so it laid perfectly. And then the reason I made these squares smaller than these squares was because I wanted to be able to cut a 3x3 piece of designer series paper, because I didn't want to waste too much. So if I would have had to have cut this at 3.5 by 3.5, kind of on my 6x6 sheet, it really uses up a lot. So by cutting it to a 3-inch square and then cutting it diagonally, it fits just perfectly. And really don't notice that it's that much smaller than these. So that's the other little thing that I wanted to tell you. And then it just closes up like that. Those magnets stick. And you have your little corner flap easel card. I think it's so cute with the Christmas presents down there. And then we did the baby wipe technique. That is so pretty on that tree, if you can see it. But I thought the granny apple green with the red is one of my favorite color combinations for Christmas. And I do like that when they open it up, it has your Christmas card greeting. So again, this can fold down. You can fold all up and fit into a regular size envelope. So I do call these my VIP cards, because not everyone's going to get this card. This is definitely for a very special person. But I have a few people in mind that I think will really appreciate getting it. So I hope you liked that Christmas in July card. I hope you enjoyed this project and you want to try it out for your own. It's a lot easier. Once you're making it, you'll find out how easy it is. And if you want to purchase this Merriest Tree stamp set and dies, I will have all of the links in the description down below. Sign up for my newsletter to get your free project sheet, and it'll be emailed right to you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more creative card making tutorials. And please share this video with your friends and spread the holiday cheer early. Thanks for watching. Don't be shy. Stamp and shout. So I hope you stayed to the end, because after making this card, I thought the areas up here looked a little bare. Maybe if this was more of a Christmas paper, it would be fine, but I think it needs something. So we're going to do a little bit more with this card. So I have the little snowflake, or the little star dies, and I cut 4 of them out in silver foil, and I put them on this side. But I want to do the rest of it with you, because we're going to add a little bit more than just the stars. So these little dies are part of the Merriest Tree bundle, and there's 4 different sizes of those stars. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those out in foil, and then we're going to do one more thing to finish off this card. Okay, so I've cut out the 4 pretty little stars. And also, if you noticed, I put a little note in the middle of my video that on this square right here, it should have this piece of white behind it. So it'd be the same size as that. It's in my project sheet, but I forgot to glue it down. So it looks pretty just like this, but if I were doing it over, I would definitely put that white layer down there, because it would bring it all together. But look, it's still very, very pretty. So we're going to take these stars and we're going to put on this side. But before that, we're going to use 2 more of the sentiments that are in the set. So we're going to stamp those 2 in real red. So we have hoping your home is filled with the spirit of the season and love and joy. And now we're going to fussy cut these out. And I don't mind fussy cutting out sentiments, because it's so easy. You don't have to be perfect. You kind of just jig-jag along the curve of the words. And when you get done, it looks really, really cool. So I'll do this really quick. I'll fast forward and I'll show you what we're going to do to finish off this card. Okay, so hopefully you saw I just jig-jagged around all the edges there, just fussy cut it out. And now we have a pretty little shape. And I'm going to attach this to each corner of the card. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to put that sentiment there and this sentiment over here. So I'm just going to glue those down. And then I already have the stars over here, so I'm going to add these stars over on this side. You could do it with a glue dot, or you could do it with a little bit of glue, or you could do it with a little bit of snail. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back. Okay, now we'll take a look. I like that much better. I think that really finishes off the card. It's pretty in person. You can see the shimmer of the gold, of the silver foil. It really looks pretty. So see, aren't you glad you stayed to the end? It's like when you go to the movie, you got to watch the credits until the end, because you never know what's going to happen. So let me know what you think about today's card. Please leave me some comments. I appreciate hearing from you, and I will see you next Wednesday. Don't be shy. Stamp and shout.